This is the Infinite Podcast with me, Øystein Rabbe.
And me, Ulf Tønneflittig.
This episode is a live recording from The Wake Up Show.
Yeah, support The Wake Up Show on patreon.com/The Wake Up Show. Your support really makes a difference. But back to this episode.
Morten Hake is our guest.
Yes.
And we talk about
failure,
how to fail, and
how not to fail.
And how
the
to
gift,
be okay with it.
The gift of failing.
Yes, the gift of failing.
It's a great episode.
It's a great episode.
Yeah, enjoy.
Welcome to the Wake Up Show. We are live. It's a new morning here in Norway. How are you doing today? There's some sound. Okay, sound is working. We are live today. We are failing upwards, and we talk. Can you lend me my coffee, Ulf? Thank you. This is a wake-up show, but it's not a wake-up show in terms of drinking coffee like this. I need to use both my hands because I'm shaking. Whew. So we're waking up once again, and this conversation might be changing your life forever. Christian.
Oi.
Push the button.
Yes, I push it. Sånn.
Thank you.
Hello. Yes.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's good too. But I didn't mean the video.
No, you told me to fail upwards, so I thought I was to do something wrong.
It's perfect.
Okay, now here's the intro.
Thank you, Christian.
Hibbity-boobity-boo. Good morning to you. Good evening, good night, and all of the above. This is the Wake Up Show, and by the looks of it, well, Rabbe is sort of awake, I'm awake, and you're awake, and that's all that matters. We're failing upwards today. That seems pretty decent to do in December, and if we want to help us fail, well, we got this little thing going on called Patreon. Patreon.com/The Wake Up Show, where you can support the show with a monthly donation. And, well, your support really makes a difference. And to all you wonderful Patreons out there, thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful journey called Life and Waking Up. Now I'm going to introduce Christian, but he's already introduced himself, so he's fine as wine. But we're
still very happy to have Christian.
We're so happy you're here, Christian.
Yeah.
Cut to Christian.
Hello, I'm Christian.
No, you can do it again. The button pushing wizard.
Yep. Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
It's magical.
Congratulations.
So, have you ever in your life, my good friend Rabbe, failed?
Me? No.
You're flawless, right?
Flawless.
Yeah. That must be great.
Yes.
I remember earlier in life, I was convinced that everyone else was not failing, only I.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. It's a good feeling. If you get through the...
It's not very good feeling.
If you do the S word, not sex. That's not what I'm talking about. Maybe that works
talk about the S word that early in the show?
No. I'm just teasing.
Okay.
But in addition to the two of us and our button-pushing wizard, we have the most wonderful guest of the year. It's Morten.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Life
yeah.
coach. As if you weren't able to live life yourself.
You can live life through Morten. That's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Do you want some cookies?
Sure. I'll
It's
have a
Christmas
cookie.
after all.
You know, we made these especially so they are shaped like a heart because of all the love in this room.
Good.
I think all gingerbread cookies are shaped like hearts. Maybe it's a friendly reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how's life treating you? You've been failing lately, or is it?
Yeah. Failing like a boss. No, just
Failing like a boss.
yeah. I feel like that's the whole game. You know, if you can dance with failure, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that concludes the show for today. We solved the puzzle of life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you here. Now, do I remember incorrectly, or were you our first ever guest on the show?
It was.
Yes.
And you guys
Episode
are
1.
so much more sophisticated now. You have
We have a guy.
You
Is
have
it
a
because of the
dude,
cookies?
Christian.
Because of the cookies?
The cookies,
Yeah.
the
Paper notes.
the paper notes.
We're going places.
Technician. You know, you have a plan.
Yeah, look.
We actually,
We have a plan. Look at that.
yeah.
Robin made that. I'm not the planner guy. I'm the...
But there was a focused energy here that wasn't present the last time I was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. You have a congruent energy. There's progress. Well, at least there's the illusion of progress. No,
Well,
I feel it.
And I think...
I'm rooting for you guys a lot.
Thanks.
I have your Patreon page on one tab. Okay, I have your Patreon page on one tab, but
That's
I haven't become Patreon yet. So I
Then-
will.
Then you can leave.
I will commit to becoming a Patreon before the day's end.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Thank you so much.
That's a pretty neat pledge.
Yes,
We appreciate your
sirs.
support. Obviously, your support through showing up and believing in us is actually also quite important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a currency too.
Yeah, it is for sure. And I think this show, now that was 17 episodes ago, and when we started the show, you know, it was sort of like just okay, we're going to do this,
Yeah.
and it's going to be live, and we're like, well, how does this even work? And we were failing, but
Yeah.
I believe there is a better word for failing, which is learning.
Right.
We seem to think that these are two different things, but they are not.
Right. Which is also success, you know, learning success.
Yes.
So,
what's your definition of failure? Or to put it differently, how has your definition of failure changed over the years?
that's a great question. Hello. Good morning. Cheers to that question. Well, failure, well, it used to be life can feel, when you're a kid, life can feel so awesome that like every day feels like a year and you never want to go to bed, and there's this life force just like shooting out of your fingers and everything is awesome, and from that energy I early on wanted to like conquer the world, you know, and succeed like Steve Jobs or, you know, Tony Robbins. I remember you talked about him on this podcast.
Bill
the other
Gates?
day.
Do you want to succeed like Bill Gates?
Yeah,
Oprah?
yeah, Oprah, big
Oprah.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
For sure.
And you know, started on my endeavors to conquer the world, and and at that time it was very concrete to me. Like success is a kind of I guess if you look at the definition of success would be like a definite achieved goal or a result.
Yeah, you set a goal,
Yep.
and you achieve this
Achieve
goal, and
That's
thus you
success.
have been successful.
I guess that's the. But you asked about my, yeah. So and then in other words, if you don't succeed the goal, then that's failure. That used to be my definition of it, and in a sense, you could say that, and that would, make logical sense. But as you go through life, you start noticing that life is more dynamic and flowing than that, and you start seeing that, or I started seeing that it really, really all depends on the observer, the perspective, and there really isn't anything such as failure. And I know it's a cliche, but if you like paint on a canvas and you want to, create a creative output, then there's part of doing mistakes along the journey is how you navigate more efficiently. So failure is essential to success, and when you start seeing that, you can start like understanding that there is nothing dangerous with failure. It's more of a the old plane metaphor. It's only on track like 1% of the time, but it has a road, it has a path, it has a track. So as long as you kind of check yourself before you wreck yourself, and you're going to kind of progress, and progress apparently seems to be something that we are attracted to as humans in this experience.
There's something, because failing seems integral to succeeding, because in order to succeed you have to be willing to fail. Actually, failing is a part of succeeding. Now it seems to me what I had mistaken earlier in life, and still at times, is that giving up is actually the only way you cannot succeed. Because the moment you give up, then you've sort of let the failures define your mission, and just then it's not gonna happen. Like for instance, this fella, I wanted to make a film about a young woman who was severely depressed and went to her doctor, and he said, well, why don't you just commit suicide and go to heaven and everything will work itself out? And she became very distraught. It's like, that's your solution? And then the rest of society seemed to be sort of just pushing that agenda, like, well, that's great, you get to go to heaven, that's super. But she was like, but that doesn't make any sense. And that film felt really important to me. I wanted to make that film because I hated religion, and how religion said that if you're miserable, you can be happy in the afterlife. I now see everything completely differently, and that obviously is a fun part of the journey in itself, but that was not the point of this story. Point was that I sent in applications to get funding to make my film, but they said no. We're not going to fund your film. And then I was like, well, then I'm not going to make the film, because obviously if no one is going to fund it, then it's not worth making. So I gave up.
You tried once?
I tried once.
Didn't work?
Didn't work, so I
Bad
stopped.
project.
Because the external world said, no, you shouldn't make this film. And I do, from this perspective, I believe the universe was right. I was not supposed to make that film at that time. But I was not supposed to give up. Because the moment I gave up, I was sort of giving up on myself. On like the feeling that if I want to achieve something, I can do that whether or not someone else gives their approval. Unless you're talking about sex, then you should always have consent. But that's a different discussion altogether. Just not try to get myself into trouble over here by like saying you should just push forward and ignore.
You're good. I know these days everyone seems to be offended by everything.
Can we check with legal? Can we check? Christian, was that? Do you approve this message? Were you not paying attention to what I was saying?
I was looking at the camera.
Were you sleeping?
No,
Is the camera still in focus?
His own work.
Is it focus?
Yes, the camera in focus. But
I apologize for disturbing you in your button pushing wizardry. Back to the failing.
Yeah,
bits.
but I think when I think about failure in my life, I see that most of my life has been about if I don't have the acceptance or the validation from other people, then it must mean I failed.
Oh, interesting.
So in order to even put out a project or start a journey, someone else should have validated it that, yeah, that's a good idea, Stein, you should do that.
Yeah.
And if not, that's not a good thing, because then I might be wrong, which means I might fail or have already
failed
Yeah.
royally because your idea was...
Because you have an idea
still-
that not everyone else agree on, so it must be bad, probably.
Right, which ties into the sense of self, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the relationship to yourself is kind of the consistent parameter, or like here of realizing that, you know, success or failure, you're still going to be... you still are who you are. You are awareness, and then you have this experience we have, and whether it's going left or right, succeed or failure, it's still going to just be that experience, and it becomes less and less dependent on what seems to be outside circumstances, and then it's more like irrelevant whether or not you succeed or fail. It's more like you're kind of using them as data points, and you can start, like I said earlier, dancing with failure, because progress really is failure. Like if you look at soccer players, for example, if you actually take one player's all of his actions throughout the game, you'll understand how much they're actually failing to do exactly what their aim is. You know, if they, you know, otherwise there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in a football game. You know,
many attempts at,
you know, and that's 90 minutes, and that's like 4 goals. Like what? The goal is just there. Why don't you just, you know, fucking put the ball in the goal? That's the point here. So it's all failure. It's like your relationship with failure. The better the relationship you have with failure, the more you're gonna look like a success.
Because it is like we're projecting this. It comes back to the dualistic game again. Like we're projecting into the world that, okay, it's either that or that, and if it's not failure, it's success, or if it's not success, it means you're failing. So, and the amazing thing about that is that as long as you look through those eyes, you're not paying attention.
Right.
You're actually not realizing what you're doing, because you just measure it from being this or that.
Just part of it.
So there, you have no idea, you have no measurement to your own progress, because you only label it like this or that.
Well, I guess
so. But also now I'm labeling it with another thing, though. So,
labels.
Yeah.
Fear of failing is what effectively will take you out of the here and now. Because the fear of failing is so you're projecting into the future, right? If I succeed, then I will be all of these things. I will be popular. I will be loved. I will be financially taken care of. If I succeed. So all the while working towards your goal, what you have is fear of failing, which will then drive your entire consciousness out of the here and now, and you'll be like miles into the future. So you will not even be present. You will only be afraid, which I do find interesting. And in my life now, you know, I had like when I was at my like a couple of years back, I was talking to my shrink, and it turns out that I had this slogan, which is the following: failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. that was a rule of law for Ulf. So anytime I was close to failing, I panicked because I can't fail. If I fail, then then I might as well be dead, because I'm not going to be a failure. I'm going to be a success. And what I've come to learn after the fact, that I actually realized that I have a issue with a fear of failure, was that, well, what am I actually afraid of? Like making a fool out of myself? What's being vulnerable? Like all of these things, which I later found to be my greatest strengths, was what I was afraid of. I was afraid of being me, of doing what I wanted to do, because, well, what if nobody liked it? Which I do believe takes us to the point of the pioneering of the whole thing. Because if you're doing something, like you're going to succeed in something that nobody has succeeded in before, how many people are going to be with you on that journey? Like from the get-go, it's just going to be you. Like you have this idea, right? Of you want to do something. You want to, I wanted to make this film. But it's only I who want to make that film. And then I ask people for money or for their approval, and they don't approve because they don't get what I'm going for. That doesn't mean I should give up, because I'm on this path, which is my path, and I have to trust my path. And I do believe that this show, for instance, now we've been pitching this show to most of the production companies in Oslo, and to all the major Norwegian networks. And even though most of them would be like, well, this is very interesting, because it is, because what we're talking about now is important. They were like, but we're not sure we can sort of package this and sell it, because they're not ready for what we're ready for. But if we were there asking for their permission, we would not be making this episode today, because then we'd be like, well, we shouldn't do this then, because some people who were content about the status quo didn't want to explore further into the unknown, which is what we are all about. We're explorers. But sort of, if we were walking around like expecting them to be like, oh yeah, there you are, we've been waiting for you because we have this whole thing set up, but we are not the past. We are we're going into the future with something brand new. This is something brand new, because we are going deep, getting real.
Best morning show ever.
Getting vulnerable, failing.
Okay. Next topic. Because, okay, the interesting part about failure and success and motivation and all this is that you have all these quotes, online. People that inspire us.
Oh, motivational quotes?
Yes. I think also the Wake Up Show have started putting out some quotes lately.
Yeah, we do quotes now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I wanted to ask you guys, is there any kind of people that have inspired you on this journey, that when you find their quote online is like, yes, I love this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy named Øystein Rabbe. He has some wonderful videos that I like to quote sometimes.
Okay, what's the quotes?
Well, he kind of quotes other people again.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
It's an inception of quoteness. I like the one who the one who dreams.
The one who dreams. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what it is. No, the one who dreams. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll jump into
it's a
another
Carl Jung
one.
quote. Anyway,
a famous one, or maybe one of the most famous, powerful quotes is Marianne Williamson quote that were powerful beyond measure.
Yeah.
And just that sentence, I like, and the whole thing points to, and you also made a video on that one.
Yeah.
Points
because there's
to
a longer text. Yeah.
Yeah, it's longer text.
Yeah.
But the
About choosing
essence
to be
of,
here.
Yeah. The essence of being more powerful than we think, you know, than our intellect believes is such a powerful understanding to have and go through life, because then this this whole appearance of separation or this duality point to, it becomes a kindergarten. It's like, okay, you know, this is just fun. We can fail. We can you know, fall and upwards, backwards, whatever. It's all concepts. It's just a playground. Some dimensions here that we understand, and then, but the real power is just beyond infinity, like you talks about, or how we want to phrase it is part of the art, you know, in this understanding, in this dimension. But just the fact that we are more powerful, that we're powerful beyond measure, is incredibly inspiring. And waking up to that is the name of the game, yo. That's life. That's how we met. That's how we connected, all three of us. It's just being in the space of unknown knowing, and then, you know, waiting for the unknown to kind of give us some kind of insight or inspiration or motivation or idea to take action on, and then we can kind of like use this experience to act on them. And yeah, I've been with my family this weekend, and my nephews, you know, they're 11 and 8, and it's just pure life force, you know. They don't think at all, like not even like my sister can say, like, okay, don't like, make sure, be careful about the television when you're constantly play fighting in front of the television, you know, something like that. And it's like, or like, remember to lock the door, like, okay, yeah, and then literally goes 3 seconds, they run from the car to the door, and they have forgotten everything else than the act of running through that door in that specific moment. It's just that the universe is just there. They're just locked into the present moment all the time. And it's so inspiring, because that's where, you know, they are in flow so often, because there's so few beliefs and concepts that they haven't been engaging in for years. So
they haven't read enough quotes yet.
Oh yeah, quotes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's something about what comes to mind is like, we're human beings, but something about becoming grown-ups when we insist on them being human doings, because kids, they're just being, whereas we are like, no, we're doing stuff over here, and it's important. It's really important stuff. Yeah.
We're gonna have some quotes presented now, and there's a thing in the video. Let's see.
Hello again. You know, words of wisdom. The beautiful thing about internet is that you can spread the good words of wisdom, inspiring stuff, quotes, and amazing, beautiful things that people have said before us. Smart people that society looks up to and validates. All right? So how do you know that someone actually said whatever they are quoted on the internet? To figure out this in a funny way, I would like you guys in the studio to tell me which one of these quotes are actually true. Okay, here's the first one. First one is Jordan B. Peterson. He famously said, "Never take anything in your life for granted. The more you show up to that reality, the more satisfied you will actually be." And this one is from Gandhi. "As you grow older, it's natural to be wiser. However, a wise man isn't an old man. You must be the child within. Jesus said, "Have I ever forsaken you? If you claim I have, you have never truly met me." Mother Teresa famously said at the end of her long life, "People listen to the one that can speak the unspoken voice in your heart." Einstein liked to talk about energy. What he's saying is, everything in the universe is energy. But then what puts energy to life? A wise man must ask. Mila Kunis. When I was 18, I thought being an actor was my calling. As I grew older, I realized the art of acting is just a tool for whatever else I'm here to bring to the world. Okay, these quotes, which one is true? Which one is made up in the moment? Which one... Yeah, you figure it out. You figure it out.
All right. So here is the quotes on paper.
Yeah, that's very smart because my short-term
amazing.
memory is like, what?
So-
That's...
I'm kind of, since I made the video, I'm not going to say too much about the validation or not, but let's...
Can I just ask a question? Are we? Were our mics on when you played the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Is it possible to turn them on, off while the video is playing?
No.
Because I
It's
wanted.
possible, but it was complicated or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ask so many questions
That's a
over
season
there.
2 thing.
Hey.
you know?
Yeah, we're gonna
Hey.
make that
Yeah.
work for
So-
season 2.
Hello.
So yeah, let's look at the different quotes and which one are... What do you like the quotes, or do you feel they are true? Do they inspire you? And in which way does it matter who said them?
Yeah, it was interesting to see our reaction when you quoted Mr. Jesus, because there's probably a lot attached to
The name.
the name.
Yeah,
Mr. Jesus.
Mr. Jesus.
Mr. Jesus.
That's why I tried to also call him Mr. Jesus to kind of bring him.
Interesting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Fred's he's doing he just released a video these days, and he's doing a launch, and he had Jesus.
Fred has
in-
also been a guest here, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to Fred.
He's a reoccurring character on the show.
Yes.
Yes, and he had Jesus in this video, and and from a marketing perspective, it was like, that's great, but it's also people have preconceived notions. But I like his quote, because have I ever forsaken you? If you claim I have, you have never truly met me. So you can look at it and be like, me? What do you mean, Jesus? I haven't met me. I mean, from a perspective of separation, it doesn't make sense at all. But if you look at who Jesus represents, he represents God. What is God? Well, God is consciousness, awareness, truth, essence, source, whatever you want to call it. And then that awareness is the only thing that's always been there. You know, that's the only constant factor, or in our life.
like,
So
you can never
it's like saying love. Have love ever forsaken you? If you claim it has, you have never truly seen it.
Yeah. But you can never see that if you just look at the Jesus.
Right.
As
If
a
you're
label.
busy, busy thinking about,
Jesus-
hey, Jesus, that's
Jesus
a
of-
religion.
the guy in the
Mr.
robe.
Jesus has not a last name, but sort of like a what is called the Christ, and what is often referred to as Christ consciousness. And what, in my mind, Jesus is walking around doing is sort of being fully present and connected with Christ consciousness. So when he's talking about, because I do believe this quote it holds true, that this is a Jesus quote. Obviously, that's a couple of thousand years ago, so maybe he didn't say it exactly like that, and maybe he didn't speak English, I don't know. Maybe it was French, I'm not sure. But you've never truly met me. Like, I do like that. Like, who is he referring to? But all of Jesus' parables are sort of referring to something greater than. It's not referring to the human incarnation, this guy walking around with the name of Jesus. And that's what confuses people, because and obviously makes quite the uproar because he is saying that he is the divine communicating through this guy named Jesus. And they're like, but no, you can't do that. Only the church can do that. The king can do that. You can't do that because you're just a poor little me. But I do find it interesting the more like you connect with this divine consciousness, where I truly feel that this is 100% like rock solid truth. We have never forsaken you, ever. Like, and then you're like, but what about that time in high school when everyone was making fun of me? Did you forsake me then? Or what about that person dying? Or what about that horrible thing happening? But it's like, then you're in the limited self. Once you take a step back to that broader thing, call it Christ or call it woo-ha, this is the place.
Yeah,
or what I like to call it, home. Then things looks completely different. Christian, do you think Mr. Jesus said this quote over here? I know you read the Bible multiple times, and
yes, of course I have.
From our Bible study lecture back in the 80s, when you weren't even born. Sorry. In your previous life, you was quite the disciple of the faith. Just answer that. Did Mr. Jesus say, "Have I ever forsaken you? If I claim I have, you never truly met me"?
Well, as we all know, Mr. Jesus said many things,
He did.
and this might be one of them.
So, do we? I'd say yay. He said this.
Because one of them are fake.
Is there anyone that you feel are fake?
No,
Or-
that's
Oh, yeah,
I'm shocked
let's-
because no, I'm not shocked.
Let's
but
look
I'm
at number one,
surprised.
Jordan
Yeah.
B. Peterson. Now, you know, I've been listening to Jordan B. Peterson quite a lot, and I really like the guy because he's insisting that maybe it's not a good idea to insist that the world is a bad place, but there is good. That the core thing of it all is good, which I really like, and I think he's sort of on to something really profound. Not sort of just looking at all the bad stuff, but actually sort of transcending that.
Yep.
But it's also sort of very like, well, bad things are gonna happen. The point is not walking around and like thinking that your life is gonna be just peachy. So from that perspective, even though I can't say like, well, I do recall him saying that or reading that, I'd say that sounds very Jordan B. Peterson-y.
I'd say so too. Never take anything in your life for granted. The more you show up to that reality, the more satisfied you will actually be.
But it's pretty cool, right?
It's a very cause and effect type Jordan Peterson quote.
Okay, so what's the next one then? What about the next one?
Gandhi.
So we validated the first one.
Validated.
Yeah.
Check.
Okay, next
Yeah,
one.
I'd say Jordan said that stuff. Yeah. So Mahatma Gandhi, whom I know way too little about, except his non-violent approach to
Not in Civilization.
Not in.
Civilization.
the video game.
Yes, the video game.
Oh,
He's
okay.
super aggressive.
Ah.
Just want to make
Really?
nuclear bombs.
That sounds like Gandhi over there. Yeah,
That's funny.
it's like here's the friendly guy, except for in Civilization, you son of a bitch. Never played Civilization. I don't know why.
I'm more interested in gaming lately, actually. I think gaming has a lot of wisdom in it.
Yeah, like this game.
Yeah.
Did you? I'm sorry. Now I have to disrupt everything. Did you see the launch of this new Xbox thing where they use Alan Watts quotes?
No.
That's fucking cool.
Okay.
So you all should check that out. We should put it somewhere on something like
Maybe.
a piece of paper. No, we put it in the.
In this show, maybe?
But they have like launched like a new Xbox that looks super weird. But what they've done is that they've taken like a famous Alan Watts quote, like the if you could dream any dream possible, you dream of doing crazy stuff, and
Pull it up.
at the end of it all, you're gonna dream this. But that together with like insane graphics from a video game console, first of all, holds really true because, well, Alan Watts, as one of the most inspiring guys ever, well, that is the game we're playing. It's the game of forgetting and remembering, but also the fun of trying to capitalize on that and sort of saying that video games is the point of life. I also find that to be highly amusing because in a sense they are, but at the same time they're also an invitation, right? To sort of realize that you can actually play this game through you. You don't have to sit down in the couch sort of like through an avatar play an adventure. You can actually use your life to be an adventure if you're not so afraid of failing, because failing in Star Wars Battlefront 2 just means respawning and trying again. To the fact that you probably can respawn over here as well, but you tend on forgetting that you respawn, so you're going to be like, well, this seems like a tedious task, and can I please just relax on the couch a little over here, because this is stressful. But Mahatma Gandhi, sorry, that was
let's continue.
True or false?
We have a schedule, you know.
We have a schedule. It's very important with schedule.
Yes.
Who said that quote? Robert's famous quote is like on his tombstone: "Time is of the essence."
Yeah. All right. So did Gandhi?
Like, there's a part of me is like, there's some trick to this quiz, so some of them's going to be wrong, and we're going to have to get this right, because if not, we are failing. But I'd say it sounds very Gandhi to be the child within.
Yeah.
And I do like just to attest to the fact that yes, check out the child within.
So Jordan B. Peterson, check. Gandhi, check. Jesus, check.
Mr. Jesus, check.
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
People listen to the.
I know which one is wrong.
Did you check like the?
No, it might just be a mistake you made.
Spelling? Or?
Yes. because Albert Einstein, Life of a Wise Man Must Ask, but in the video you added himself. You forgot that, so
it must be that one then. Yeah.
It's the fake
must
one.
be that one. Yeah.
Oh, so
there's a word missing.
There's a word missing.
Yes, there's a word missing in the.
I see.
A wise man must ask himself, not just ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That must be it then.
So that's the wrong one.
So Mother Teresa.
People
Are
listen
we
to
in
the
or
one
out
that can
on that
speak
one?
the unspoken voice in your heart.
I love that. I love her.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'd say Mother Teresa said that. Check.
Okay.
I'd say so too.
Everything in the universe is energy. But when that put energy to life, a wise man must ask himself. That's how Albert Einstein spoke. Right? That's my Albert Einstein impersonation.
I love that
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Okay.
What puts energy to life? That's sit on that for a day or a year.
Sit on that energy.
Yeah. Okay, so it's check.
No,
You don't want us to.
Obviously
you don't
not.
want to talk too much about because you have a schedule.
No, yeah, we have a schedule. You know?
I think you cleverly made that quote up, and it feels like it could have been an Albert Einstein quote, which is a huge compliment to you.
I said you were. Yeah, if Einstein didn't write this down, you were channeling Einstein, and he obviously thought this at one point in time.
Okay. Yeah.
But from what I can tell, Einstein was really into sort of like what is the universe made of? What is energy? What's all of this about? But also he was very connected with like the divine, like because he was like, well, there is something behind the veil that I'm sort of poking at. So yeah, he said that for sure.
Yeah.
And the Mila Kunis quote, I think it feels like the
Or Mika Kunis as
it feels,
so that must be fair.
as it says on the paper.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You were gonna say, Morten?
It feels like a very correct Hollywood actor thing to say.
Okay.
You know,
It feels very Mila
Yeah.
Kunis to say. I think as far as I can tell, she seems like a very reflected and
a grown-up thing to say.
a wise soul.
All right. Let's look at the answers in the next video.
And don't speak into the microphones while we're looking at the clip, because that's going to come into the audio. Or do, if you like.
Did you get it? Did you realize?
Yes.
No? Or?
Yes.
Well, here's the truth. All of them is made up.
Oh!
I didn't lie though, you could say, because I was trying to connect to the energy of these people and kind of download what would they actually say if they were alive, or if I could have a one-on-one conversation with them.
Very impressive.
Which I can, but depends on the rules of the game you're playing here on Earth. And I don't even know Mila Kunis or Gandhi or Jordan B. Peterson or whatever. But
whatever.
They're always here, with us.
Jesus.
Don't you think?
God damn it!
Solid.
Yeah, you just channeled all of them. I have to say that was impressive.
So that's
That
why
was
I
fun.
spelled wrong.
What?
That's why I spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing. Amazing. Good. Very good.
Did we fail, or did you succeed?
I don't know. I think I added those this quote thing to this show. It was originally made for fake news episode.
Yeah, it was made for episode 4,
So then it
which
was
failed totally because everything collapsed. We just ended the episode like half an hour in because it was Anders Håvi, and we're gonna have him back.
Yeah. But so my point is that I made those in that show for kind of approve or disapprove that is true. But in this episode, I feel it has another role, which is kind of more this whole thing about failure and motivation, inspiration. The people we look up to. Why do we look up to them? And how does they help us to realize ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was the most perfect way of just illustrating how much wisdom and knowledge you can actually find within.
Yeah.
And also like what is truth.
Yeah, what is truth?
And because like I dare say this is true, but at the same time, as I say, it's completely made up.
Very interesting.
But
Super
anything,
cool.
like whatever you say, like if I speak, I make something up, So
Yeah.
that kind of pulls the whole bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It unveils the veil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Taking it's a real time forming.
You know what?
Molding of
do you know
form.
when people get married, the bride will have like a veil in front of her, and then the groom takes up the veil, and they sort of connect, because then you can see your eyes properly, and the connection is love, right? Unless it's a very dystopic and horrible marriage, but like the act of marriage is a covenant of love, because you're giving yourself to something greater than the two separates. It's a union. It's a non-dual.
Everything's a covenant of love.
Yeah, for sure. But I just like the fact that you're actually in some ceremonies you actually have the friggin' veil. And you actually lift the veil. That's a part of the thing. Or like in theater, you have the curtains, and you lift the curtains,
Right.
and then you see into the grand illusion of life.
Yeah.
It's pretty
You
cool.
don't lift them, you move them.
But some places you lift, like,
Okay, yeah.
don't
Yeah, that's true.
trouble us with the
That's a good point.
semantics of how
Words
curtains
are
work.
presented.
This is how curtains work. They work like this. That is true.
Yeah. So how would we conclude this
I think you guys are like an old married couple. You guys should have a marriage and unveil the veil of each
Oh
other.
shit! You know what's gonna happen in season 2?
Oh,
Gonna get married. So fuck yeah! Gonna have a ceremony. We need a priest, a rabbi, and a
Jew.
That's a rabbi. No, it's imam. No, what's the...
Throw a Muslim in there. Why not?
Throw in... Yeah.
Jesus.
Can we get a Scientologist?
You can get a Scientologist. Everyone's included. Everyone's accepted.
An atheist?
Yeah, all day.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
That's going to be quite the union. What if we fail?
Oh, no.
Imagine, oh my God, it's so amazing to think about how serious we take ourselves. Like, imagine the most dedicated Scientologist and the most dedicated whatever else kind of religion or community leader or whatever.
Concept holder,
yeah. Hold on.
Holder of concepts. It is I. I made a book of concepts and now I shall put them into effect. Here we go. What concept do you subscribe to? I'm atheist. That's my concept. That's my box.
Yes.
I came in a box, I'll leave in a box. Did you come in a box? That's weird.
Tell us.
You know, what's the Amazon? They come with these boxes. It's like, the baby has arrived.
What?
Overnight delivery.
Boxes in Amazon?
The babies come in boxes in Amazon. Amazon actually delivers babies now. It's crazy. If you have like Amazon...
What are you talking about? Where? What?
Parables, come on. Okay. Don't take it literally, ever.
Okay. Well, actually, I think you can buy living bees on Amazon. So I thought maybe you talked about like you can buy baby cats now or something.
In the Amazon jungle? Or
no, the Amazon website.
Baby cats are called kittens.
They come in boxes on the Amazon office and then they send you living babies. Bees.
Yeah.
Burpees?
All right, how can we fail?
How can we fail?
Yeah.
You can never, ever fail. It's impossible to fail. Ever. You can give up, but that's only suspending your success. To sort of... And once you get the play of it all, you'll find that to be quite amusing.
I like that.
Because, you know, I'm not worthy, I can't do this. And then you're like...
Right, and when you have those periods in life where you just are apparently in victim mode and like putting sticks in your own wheels.
Your ass?
Up your own ass. The only... It seems like the only resolution to that, salvation to that, is always the same. It's just like, oh, that was all completely unnecessary. It's like, that seems to be the same insight every time.
Yeah, that's the like, suffering.
Oh, I've been suffering now for a year or 2 years. You know, like 700 days I've been suffering, and the way out of that suffering is only the realization that all of those 700 days were absolutely just thought created. They were all just engaging in a perspective that you knew better all along, but you were kind of holding on. Your ego was holding on to this story, this idea that you're a victim in life. And
but how do you realize that when you're doing it?
That's the thing. That's the humbling part of life. That's the surrendering. That's the
I told you we were going to surrender today.
Oh no!
The letting go, you know, because you build up this card house of concept, and you take yourself seriously. You take your ideas seriously. You take your concepts seriously. You carry around a story that you have engaged in a while. So the patterns of thoughts, they are solid now. They're like strong roads. So it's like a highway. So you're like, of course I'm doing the highway. This is how I connect with other people. It's by being a victim and fucking.
So we can have something to talk about.
Yeah, and I have problems, and I have problems when I have my foot. Remember the first very thing, you know, and that becomes the story. Of course, it does. It becomes the story.
It becomes a new story of.
It's a real time. It's a real time self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Your own personal house of cards constructed by you, and it's so fragile, so you have to protect it by any means necessary.
There's a new concept you can protect, which is called surrender. It's very important.
Yeah.
How do you have to surrender?
How do you seem sort of contracted when you say you have to surrender? It's about letting go, bro. Come on, let go. Just relax.
Every concept can trap you.
I was gonna say something about one of my favorite quotes of all time from our favorite soon-to-be guests whenever he chooses to appear through divine intervention. Jerry! Where it's somewhere along the lines of, I want everyone to succeed and get everything they've wanted, to see that's not it.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the funnest part about the pursuit of happiness through success, is that that's not it at all. But enjoying the process towards being successful is obviously fun. But the moment you think that reaching the goal, the smooth place, then you're missing the ball entirely. And I think that invitation is something we all can sort of step into and actually dare go into that void of, okay, so everything I ever wanted, what if I had everything I ever wanted, then what?
Yeah, because I think you have to realize, before you can do what we are talking about here in this episode, to really shift your perception of failure. I think in order to do that, you have to first come to the realization that achieving the goal is not going to fulfill you. Like, that's not going to be it.
And it's almost like the only way you can realize that is achieving the goal. It's only by experience, it seems.
Yeah.
I feel like life is a wheel. I felt like I achieved
a hamster wheel,
my dream really fast in life, and then it kind of like, okay, now what? And then the next adventure will be just letting it all go. So like you build in kindergarten or something, you build a brick of all the way to the top. And everyone's just waiting for it to, like, when can we, just like
tear it down.
And that was my next chapter in life. You gotta get tear down, and now it's like, at some point now, I feel inspired to create. Now I'm like creating a new round. I feel more prepared for success and failure, surrendering in the success, and knowing that it can all just vanish. It's very fragile, and I can die any second, and that goes for all of us. It's a really fragile. Not that is a failure, but it's like it really is that precious life, and so you go the next round of the circle of life when it comes to this particular concept of succeeding and failure and kind of reaching your results, because I agree with you that but at the same time, having a goal, there's something to that.
Yeah, you need to have the goal, but that's not your salvation. Is not the goal.
Right.
That is just, it's sort of like a pastime, or we're here to sort of improve on this place. Like we're here to make this place a little bit better, and we can do that through setting goals to improving life on planet Earth, but that's not going to be what saves us. It's the fact, by letting go of the fact that that's sort of like you just have to be present in the here and now and taking whatever comes up in front of you, right?
It's like goal setting is just a tool to move forward. It's not
right.
It's not the destination.
Right. So it is a tool to move forward if apparently you seem to be liking to move forward. And part of the dual experience is progress. It seems that progress fools us into being happy, if that makes sense. It's like, I made progress. I'm mastering something. That's why everyone is searching for. We're constantly learning new stuff. We're so hungry for knowledge and progress when it comes to just being a human being. And then having a goal, it's like taking that life force energy and kind of like as would be a light bulb of energy, and kind of putting that light bulb in a flashlight, and all of a sudden now you'll have the same thing, but you kind of like the same circle of life, but now it's kind of like going forward. It seems to go forward in a way. It's not,
but it's
as meaningless as anything else.
I want to tell you the story of this guy.
Yeah, but we are closing to the end.
Yeah, but I think that's also more flexible than you.
Okay,
or do you anyone have to like go in a second? I want to tell you a story about this guy named Sisyphus. Now Sisyphus doesn't want to die, so he tries to fool the gods into living forever. And in the end, the gods punish him by having him push a rock up a hillside, only to watch it roll back down again. And that he has to do for all eternity.
Right.
And then we all can think, well, that sucks.
Well,
but now here is the point of the story in my mind. We're Sisyphusing right now. For reals. Because we are not acknowledging the fact that we are the gods. Because what Sisyphus is doing is like, well, I'm just a poor little me, and when I die, I'm screwed. So in order to make that point across, we make Sisyphus do that forever, which is what we're doing right now. We're just reincarnating, pushing rocks up the hillside, watching it roll down again. And we're like, why do the gods keep punishing us? And it's like, because we are the gods. And the moment you actually allow that, play comes into the picture. Because then you see the fun of it all. What you've been doing all along is just been playing hide and seek with yourself. And you can sort of relax because you're back home. It's all good. And how do you do that, Rabbe? How do you actually do that?
I want to add something to it first.
Yeah, you can add something. You have to surrender first.
Yeah, okay. Check.
You have to, like, relax your shoulders. Okay?
Okay.
You have to breathe. You have to connect with like, the Shiva energy or whatever you want to call it, the Christ consciousness and all that stuff. And then you have to just realize that everything is perfect as it should be, and all your failures are great lessons for you to grow get your full potential.
Yeah, I'm going to say it now.
Now
for every round you pull that stone up the hill.
Yes.
What is important to realize also is that it's not just a loop, like you do it again and again and again, and then you realize it's a game and you're still doing it. For every round, you also expand your consciousness because you learn something new, you find something new, you experience something new.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing of it. That's for every kind of contrast you experience, where you have to push through or come to the surrendering point. That is for you to realize more of what you want to create, who you are, and everything like that. So there is a purpose to it more than just realizing you're doing it and then continue doing it because of no reason.
Yes.
So I think Ulf has found something new this time.
Because we're now at the part of the show. Now, I've as you all know, typically I go online on the internet. I use AOL or Alta Vista or Yahoo, and I search the internet far and wide.
Was it Bing.com? Or
Do not mock Bing. Do not Bing mock.
I never find anything.
You guys.
You guys.
Get a room.
That's after our
Be
wedding.
unveiled.
We're gonna have the veil thing for sure. That's gonna be beautiful.
You should show me one day with the. Good morning.
Looking for a quote that seems appropriate to all this failing upward stuff. So after a lot of searching, and I found a quote that I found to be appropriate. I printed it out on a piece of paper, which I have here. Yes, it was not just some random piece of paper. Now, Morten, would you like to if I hold it up, you want to read the quotes?
Sure.
Yeah. I do like this.
Yeah. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change.
Wow.
Never heard that before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this fear of failing It seems like a sort of a fear of looking yourself in the mirror, accepting yourself as what you truly are.
Yeah.
Now you might be thinking that Mr. Jesus is the only one who has access to this Christ consciousness stuff, the good stuff. Well, it seems we're all connected to that tree of life.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to get there, well, that's through looking in the mirror. And also remember that everyone's mirroring you, so this is a can't-fail operation. I believe we have a word for that.
Surrender.
No, the other word, the U word.
U word?
Unfuckable.
Unfuckable.
Say
That's
it
the word.
with feeling.
Unfuckable. Unfuckable.
And it's important to remember that when things get rough, that even though it seems like, well, you're going to mess up in a way that's equal to dying, this place is unfuckable. And you can have as many goals as you like. And I know that seems sort of preposterous to say because this seems so finite, but it's not, it's infinite. And all the black stuff in the universe, which is most of it, is all love. So relax. We're swimming around. We're bathed in love. So just remember that. And I do believe we have had a wonderful episode 17, which is a magical number. Well, at least now, because
now
this episode was so great. And it turns out that you can channel all the greats, Rabbe, and I really, really like that. Thank you so much, Morten. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much, Morten.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
De nada.
And button pushing wizard guy. Thank you so much for your mad skills and your presence.
Oh, obviously they're not that good. Since I didn't even cut to myself because I'm terrible.
You got this.
You got this.
Cut yourself.
We're so happy you're here.
Speak.
Hi.
Yay! Win it.
Well, I love you guys, and I love you viewers, and I love the Earth. It is our planet, and
it is our home. We love the Earth. It's our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home.
Okay, and now we can just roll the outro, which is more singing.
And Merry Christmas.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, the Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. See skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow, they'll learn much more ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Ja, vi kan bare klippe kjapt til det nå.
Ja, gjør det. Ja, perfekt. Det er sånn der...
Totally forgot. We on?
Yes, we're on.
Perfect. Did you check out our Patreon? You know, your support really makes a difference, and through giving a monthly allowance, is that a word? It's a word. You can help make this show even greater, better, and obviously more fantastic, and make it the greatest show of all times.
Do you have patrons already, other than me?
But have you Patreoned?
I will today. I committed.
You keep saying that.
I am a patron.
Yeah, and to all our patrons, thank you so much for your support.
Anyone in particular?
Keep on trucking. And all of them.
Yeah, all of them. We love you.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna do the outro one more time.
Pling, pling. Herlig.
Ikke så vanskelig.
Jeg prøvde å få liksom kjenner dere noen patrons?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself,